Yeah, y'all already know what it is. One of the hottest podcasts out right now. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Ooh, we lunge up. You make Stevie wonder. If you got a problem, she'll do her best to solve them. Ooh, lunge like for the party. I gotta tune in. You know she do this.
Hey y'all, it is your girl, 1E, 1 Laundry. I am her, she is I is she, her is she, I is I. It's me. Alright y'all, so let's get started. Before I do get started, I just want to say thank you everybody that has been supporting me. Make sure you follow me on my Facebook page, the HMO Podcast by Laundry. Make sure you follow me and subscribe to me on SoundCloud and also YouTube, which is also the HMO Podcast by Laundry. We are now pending, waiting on review from Apple and the Pandora store. Hopefully, and cross fingers that by the middle of next week, I will have some type of approval for everything to be on Apple, Pandora. Everything is already on YouTube and everything is already on SoundCloud. So those are the main, SoundCloud and YouTube is the main two sources right now that we're using until further notice. Hopefully by the next episode, we will have everything up running on all platforms for now. But let's go ahead and just jump into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be handling rejection. And personally, rejection to me is me putting myself out there or me responding to something and you don't correspond how I expected you to. So it kind of just causes me to shut down and feel as though that I'm rejected. And personally for me, I grew up being accustomed to getting a part of a person, which means I never had nobody give me 100 of them. So I always felt like that I had to give 100 of me to at least get part of somebody. So I always grew up having that fear of being rejected. Like being rejected is just like a hurtful feeling for me. So, and for me, I really don't know how it feels to get all of somebody because I always end up giving all of me and only getting half of them. I don't know if it's because I gave too much of me too fast, or they felt like they already got all of me, so they don't have to give me all of them. They just give me enough to keep all of me. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. And a lot of times when you are rejected, you start to compete for love or you start to compete for competition. You always feel like you just always got to put yourself out there so that way it kind of opts you out of being rejected. But I've learned along the way that me giving all of me sets me up for rejection because, like I said, a person is not going to correspond to your actions as if you think they would, and it allows you to shut down a lot more. And for me personally, at this point in my life, I feel like I just want somebody to do all the work. Like I feel like I don't want to do the communication. I feel like I don't want to do the taking an initiative. I feel like I just want somebody to do all the work. And it's because I've put myself out there so many times that I just completely end up empty. So it's like I'm in a place of this brick wall. Like, no, like you got to do everything. Like you got to hit me up. You got to call me. You got to show me the attention that I want, or I'm just not going to give none of me. And I'm a very nonchalant person. So it's hard for me to even like to show somebody that I care or show somebody that I love them because I've been rejected so much. It's like, it's so hard. And it's like every time I was like, okay, I'm going to give it another chance, and I put myself out there, I feel like I set myself up for failure, because every time I put myself out there, it causes me to like retract from ever doing it again. And what I mean by retract, it's like, say for instance, if they're drawing your blood and the needle went in the wrong way, they kind of like pull back a little bit to try to get the needle in the proper place. That's kind of like me. Every time I give someone a chance, it kind of just shuts me down even more, like pulls me back. Like, I don't even know why I did this. Like, why did you get what I'm saying? I kind of beat myself up in a way, like I shouldn't have done that. And I like basically sabotage myself so much from me feeling like I just been rejected all my life. And I feel like it's because all my relationships that I've been in have failed. Not saying that it was that person's fault or that it was my person's fault. It just always failed. And I felt like every relationship that I've been in, I've given my all. So even now, it's hard for me to give my all and completely show somebody that I care, or actually show somebody that I love them, because of, I feel like I failed so many times in my relationship of giving my all, to the point like, well, why would I give all of myself to somebody and it still fail? So it kind of has me in that moment where I'm like skeptical about doing anything or even letting somebody in or have that vulnerable moment with me. And when you have been rejected so much, you don't even have the courage to say like what's wrong. Like, we basically, people that have dealt with rejection so much, we kind of just have like these silent fights in our head, because we don't know how to put into words how we feel. That the absence of our courage creates that moment where you do threat, like where you threaten me, and like you threaten me with your actions, where I feel like I have to defend myself, or I can't say what's wrong with me, so I will cause a silent fight for me to actually get how I feel in a negative way. Not say a negative way, like in a very defensive way. And it's easier to outsource the hurt that way than trying to actually tell somebody how you feel, because a lot of time in this day and age, or even in general with anybody, not just talking about relationships, like when you express yourself to somebody, they always consider like, oh, they just in their feelings, you don't know what you're talking about. So it kind of like you kind of numb up and don't want to have this feeling, because every time you feel a certain way, you always become wrong for how you feel. I have to defend my feelings. You don't know how I feel on the inside. Just because you act a certain way and you expect for me to react this way, you can't tell me that my feelings are wrong. And it's like, I always tell people this, like, I don't need you to tell me what's right and what's wrong about how I feel. I just need you to understand where I'm coming from, because now I understand the cliche. I just need you to understand where I'm coming from. I just need you to understand how I feel on the inside. There's no right or wrong feelings. They're just like, you can't tell me you can't tell me that what you feeling on the inside is right. I don't know, because I'm not in your insides. You get what I'm saying? So feelings are not meant to be right, and feelings are meant to be wrong. Feelings are just meant to be, like, you just need to, what is the word I'm trying to use? I feel like your feelings should just be recognized. Like, okay, I get how you feel. It's sometimes feelings are not even meant to be understood, because sometimes I feel a certain way and I don't know how to put in words. So I just shut down, because I don't know how to put how I feel into words. And that comes with me being emotional, vulnerable. Like, I really don't know how to be emotional, vulnerable, because I don't know how to express how I feel sometimes. So it's like, how could you want me to tell you? Sometimes they want you to tell you how they feel. How could you want me to tell you how I feel when I don't even know how I feel. So it's hard for me to be vulnerable and be open minded, like, oh, I love you. And this, I don't know, because I feel like I've never felt love before. So I don't know if I love you. I don't know that feeling of feeling like this is love. Like sometimes I feel like I lie when I tell people that I love them, because I really don't know what love is. Like I know what love is as far as me loving my daughter, like I know that I love her unconditionally, but as far as me giving my love to like someone else other than my daughter, I really don't know how that feel. And it's because I've been in predicaments, or I won't say predicaments, I've been in situations, or shall I say relationships, where when I try to tell how I feel, it's always used against me in a negative way. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Like, and people call me crazy because I tell them I've never had my heart broken. And the reason why I feel like I never had my heart broken was because I don't think that I've experienced love. Like, I feel like I've had my feelings hurt because of the feeling of feeling rejected after I tried to tell you how I feel, but I feel like I never had my heart broken. And like I said, the reality of it is I never know how I feel because I try not to pay attention to my emotions. Like I try to just acknowledge, okay, like I get it. Something is making me feel a certain way on the inside, but I kind of don't dwell on them because I've always been told that I be in my feelings, or because I just overthink a lot of stuff a lot of times. And in this process of me dating, it has really become a challenge for me because people are asking me to do something that I don't even know how to do it myself. Like asking me how to share how I feel when I don't know, when I don't do the things, I don't do this with myself. Like I don't sit down and take inventory of like my feelings. Like, why do I feel this way? Or what did this person do to make me feel this way? I just kind of be like, it is what it is. And I'm a very nonchalant person. And I think it's always because I'm always left to be like the strong one. And these days of showing emotions, it make you feel like you weak. So like I just become like this strong person, like, oh, Elonja don't have feelings, or she's so cold-hearted, like she just walk away from situation. And it's not because I want to be that way, because I want to, you get what I'm saying? Like I want to be emotional, vulnerable to somebody, so that way they can like tell me, you get what I'm saying? Like we can always sit down and compare how I'm making them feel. And a lot of times some people don't know how to put into words of what they feeling. And I must admit, I, as an Elonja, is one of those people. Like, I really get, when somebody asks me how I feel about something, I just automatically get tongue-tied. I feel like I have a speech dysfunction. Like, I really don't be knowing. And I always find myself repeating myself because I really don't be understanding my own feelings. And it's crazy because I really don't know. And it's like this day and age, and people don't know. People feel like, oh, being in your feelings is just weak. No, actually, I'm realizing like being emotional, vulnerable is actually a strength. Like, believe it or not, you being vulnerable to somebody, that's showing that you are strong enough to allow somebody in. You get what I'm saying? To know your vulnerable moments, not to be vulnerable so that way they can like take advantage of you. No, not in that sense. Like vulnerable, like let me know how you feel. Like I need you get what I'm saying? It's kind of like a cry out for help. Like I need you. Help me translate how I feel into words. And I think people fear being vulnerable in relationship because they are so afraid to be hurt. be hurt. And like I just said, it's because like they feel like, oh, if you become vulnerable, then this person gonna take advantage of you. No, it's not. I mean, sometimes people do. A lot of people do take advantage when they know like your weak points, or they know how you feel, and they know what to like attack. I don't think that I've experienced love. Like, I feel like I've had my feelings hurt because of the feeling of feeling rejected after I tried to tell you how I feel, but I feel like I never had my heart broken. And like I said, the reality of it is I never know how I feel because I try not to pay attention to my emotions. Like, I try to just acknowledge, okay, like, I get it. Something is making me feel a certain way on the inside, but I kind of don't dwell on them because I've always been told that I be in my feelings, or because I just overthink a lot of stuff a lot of times. And in this process of me dating, it has really become a challenge for me because people are asking me to do something that I don't even know how to do it myself. Like, asking me how to share how I feel when I don't know, when I don't do the things, I don't do this with myself. Like, I don't sit down and take inventory of like my feelings. Like, why do I feel this way? Or what did this person do to make me feel this way? I just kind of be like, it is what it is. And I'm a very nonchalant person. And I think it's always because I'm always left to be like the strong one. But, like, to wrap up everything, because I'm basically done in touching my key points of rejection. Rejection go align with trust issues. It goes with align with you not knowing how to be emotional, vulnerable with people. And this is not just for social dating. This is for like, you fear like being rejected. Like, if you have a business proposal that you want to oppose to somebody, or if it's something that you want to do, you feel like that you're going to be rejected, or that your ideal is going to turn down, and you decide not to trust people no more, and you feel like you have this mentality that you have to do it yourself. So all this stuff don't really go with, just as far as like in dating. Like, dating is a whole nother thing. This goes for like daily general living. Like, you can use this every day. Like, you can be rejected from your family for so long, like, as they'll say, like, you're the black sheep of the family, and they've rejected you so long to the point like you don't really trust your family no more, because all your family always treated you a certain way and rejected you, or always called you weird. So then you start to seek love in all the wrong places, and then you become like you can't trust nobody, and then you become like this lonely person, or this person that's just in a black bubble. So like I said, this doesn't pertain to just general dating. This goes for everyday living, as far as business, everyday life, social life, business life, anything that you got going on. All this stuff is like general information about anything. That's basically it for me on this topic. And my closing like general thought is like, for me, I'm just so tired of living life not having chemistry. Like, people just want to be so heartless, and I just don't understand it. Like, I'm so tired of just living this life with no chemistry. Like, there's no bond, but people want access to you. Like, that's just frustrating for me. That's kind of like my breaking point of just feeling like I'm just done with people until greater come. But like I said, that's it for me. Thank you guys for listening. I did explain earlier in the beginning of the podcast that for now we are just on SoundCloud, and we're just on YouTube. We are now pending waiting on Apple and Pandora Music. Once it's up and running, I will have all the links for you guys to either subscribe, like, whichever way that you guys listen to your music or the platforms that works for you. I have come to conclusion that I will commit to releasing a podcast every Sunday. So every Sunday there will be a new episode for the podcast. I don't know when I'm gonna bring in a guest speaker, so that way we can do some recording. I'm still kind of working on how I'm going to figure it all out, but there will be guest speakers. And like I did say in the intro, if you guys are interested in becoming a host on the podcast, I'm always welcome. You guys can hit me up in my DM. My Instagram name is Longie _. That's LONGIE _. My Facebook name is my legal name, which is Elonja Bruton. And I also have a Twitter, which most people don't know. My Twitter name, I don't know it offhand. I'm looking it up as we speak. My Twitter name, my Twitter name is Elonja, ELLONJSAB. So follow me on all the platforms. Facebook, I don't know if I think I'm at 5,000 friends. So Facebook is probably a no, but you can like the HMO podcast by Longie on Facebook. I did create a Facebook page for that. Instagram name is Longie _ and my Twitter name is Elonja B. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'll see you guys. Well, I won't see you guys. I'll hear from you guys soon. Until next time, goodbye. But, like, to wrap up everything, because I'm basically done in touching my key points of rejection. Rejection go align with trust issues. It goes align with you not knowing how to be emotional, vulnerable with people. And this is not just for social dating. This is for like you fear like being rejected. Like if you have a business proposal that you want to oppose to somebody, or if it's something that you want to do, you feel like that you're going to be rejected or that your ideal is going to turn down, and you decide not to trust people no more, and you feel like you have this mentality that you have to do it yourself. So all this stuff don't really go